Hello, everyone. Welcome back. First, a couple of great things in my life. There was a chess tournament this past weekend. A couple of my students played, and one of them won all his games, tied for first, gained a lot of rating, beat some really good people. So, shout out to Sam. I haven't looked at too many of his games on my channel. I will have to start that. Great job to a number of my other students as well. Great job to Yash, who gained almost 200 rating points. Great job to Liam, who reached a new rating high. Great job to James, who gained almost 150 points in the past week. Great job to all of you. Keep it up. And now we're going to explore the dragon a little bit more. I had a lesson with Charlie about a week ago, and we played a very instructive game. And Charlie plays the dragon as black because I played the dragon as black. So we will talk about moves, ideas, so on and so forth. All right, Sicilian. We'll get to the dragon. I have 3 d6, d4. I have several videos on the dragon on this channel. I don't want to get too much into into how to get there, so you can find the dragon videos and take a look at them. Takes, knight f6, attacking the pawn, knight c3, g6. This move makes it the dragon. The bishop wants to be here. That's a really good diagonal. White plays the main move, bishop e3. White again has an intention of playing f3, queen d2 to combine these two guys, castle long, and try to checkmate black on the king side. Charlie continues with the bishop g7, as promised f3, black castles, queen d2, knight c6. Nothing special going on, and here white has a big decision to make. There are 3 possible moves. White can castle, white can play bishop c4, or white can play g4. I play bishop c4. It's a very useful bishop over here. It stops black from playing c5. Charlie plays bishop d7, which makes a lot of sense. He connects the rooks. He frees this square for one of his rooks. His rook wants to be here, and yes, it looks like this is a weird move, but the bishop would like to move, and he cannot move anywhere else. I castle, and Charlie plays queen a5. The queen is coming into the attack. The rooks are connected. This rook will usually want to come over here. I play g4 because I want to play h4, h5. As you can see, computer also wants king b1. The point of king b1 is simply step of this line and support this pawn. Charlie plays here, rook c8, and now black has a threat. I'm going to pause and have you find it. So the threat, which I hope you were able to find because I made a video on this previously, is knight takes knight, because the rook is on the same line as the bishop. So let's give white a random move. Let's say h4. Now knight takes knight, and the point is, if white takes with the bishop, then the bishop just falls. If white takes with the queen, black has this thing happening, and so black can do something like this, which attacks the queen, and the queen needs to defend the bishop. Actually, both bishops. After the queen drops, bishop number 1 goes, and now bishop number 2 goes. Which is why after rook c8, the most logical move is to deal with the threat, which is what I did, and drop the bishop back. Charlie plays knight e5, which makes a lot of sense. It's a good knight. A lot of the times the knight wants to come in here and trade itself for one of the bishops. but it also looks in this direction. I played h4 because I want to attack. Charlie plays knight c4, which makes sense. As you can see, computer is also considering playing pawn b5 to just launch an attack. But knight c4, this bishop needs to stay alive because its goal is to get rid of this bishop. And so therefore white has to take this one. Takes, obviously. And now Charlie can double up. Occasionally Charlie can even sacrifice his rook for a knight and open up white's king and ruin white's pawns. Which is one of the reasons I played knight b3. Because I don't want to deal with this right away. I'm kicking the queen away. The queen shifts here. And now there is a useful trick which you need to know, which is what I did. I played pawn e5. At first it looks like a really weird move, but the logic is if black takes, I can play pawn g5, and this is not very fun. Something is going to die. This is the pawn of e5. It's a pawn sacrifice. And if the knight moves, then stuff starts to fall. Charlie sacrificed a piece here, but he gets a very decent compensation. He gives up the knight. I threw this in. I could have also taken him right away, but then he gets a lot of pawns. He has a really good bishop. His pieces are very active. So I found an in-between move. I took his pawn. He took back with a pawn. Computer wants to take with a queen, but the problem then is white trades queens, and black attack sort of ends. Knight took the knight. Charlie took back with the bishop attacking my rook. And of course, I can move the rook right away, but I decide to improve my knight first. And that's a very, very decent knight. Charlie saves his queen. And now I need to deal with this. So I played rook f1. And the rook is quite good on this line. Charlie doubles up the rooks. Computer wants rook e8, but Charlie's move makes more sense. I played c3 because obviously there was a threat to take here. So I stopped it. Charlie plays b5. The point of b5 is Charlie wants to open this line. Maybe before right away, because notice the spin. So I cannot take with a pawn. If I take with the knight, he takes me back. And this rook is still here. He can also maybe throw in a5 at some point. Computer wanted him to play h5 because white has his own attacking ideas. Notice, by the way, that white is up a piece, but it's still very, very complicated. And that's the thing about the dragon. If you're not careful, terrible things might happen. I play knight f6, which computer doesn't love. My main point is I want to force the trade of his really, really good bishop. The downside is I'm giving up my knight in order to accomplish that, which is why computer is not very excited to do it. Obviously, white is still better, but I did not want this trade. Charlie has to take because it's a fork, so takes. Again, I also in general would like to trade pieces. I'm attacking this pawn. Charlie doesn't care and just tries to open me up over here. I played bishop d4 because I didn't want to deal with this. So bishop d4, this is an excellent bishop. He covers this square, he points this way. Charlie continues his attack. And he doesn't mind to open this line because he thinks he might have something here. I played h5 because I want to open him up. If he does this, my queen can come. If he takes with the bishop, my plan was to sacrifice. Charlie plays queen c6, putting pressure here, but also this is why it's so important to look everywhere on the chessboard. He is attacking my rook. So I moved my rook. Computer wants me to move here. because it wants to double attack this. I moved here because I wanted to move with tempo. And now Charlie takes the pawn, and now I get to make my sacrifice. So rook takes, pawn takes, queen check. This king looks to be in a lot of trouble. I gave some material back, but now it's my turn to attack. Charlie moves the king here. Moving the other way puts it in the diagonal of the bishop, and the king is not going to have any fun. So king f8. I took the pawn. Obviously, I'm trying to checkmate. I'm threatening this. Computer, you can see, wants me to drop the rook back. The point is, it wants to open the bishop. It wants to create the possibility of moving sideways, and it wants to cover this check, which I can cover later, by the way. But anyway, I played here, and the might is still much better. Charlie stops the checkmate. And I didn't think this leads to anything. So I took here first. This is a fork. Charlie sacrifices, which is the best move. I have to be very careful. I took with a pawn. Now he needs to save his queen. He's also covering this square. I checked, which is fine. The king needs to go this way. If he goes this way, I will have some sort of devastation connected to this. So the king moved to e8, and I went crazy. The reason I went crazy is I thought I could trade queens. And if I could trade queens, I'm okay. I knew that he could take here. I take, he takes here, and he will pick up this pawn. So I calculate something like here, 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 here. Then he does that. He will pick up this pawn. But I have a knight and a bishop for several pawns. I thought I was winning, and that's when I stopped calculating. And it was a terrible, terrible mistake because, of course, just because I want Charlie to take, doesn't mean he should. And also, this is why it's so important to look for checks. So Charlie checks here. Of course, if I take with the bishop, I lose my queen. But the best move here, I was kind of not thinking straight anymore because I was already annoying myself. I should give up my queen here because I did this. The problem is, of course, if I just move the king, rook takes here, but I compounded my mistake by taking here, and of course now there is a check, and this falls, and I resigned. So this is the problem with the Sicilian, with the dragon. Even when you're down a piece, which black was for a long, long time, there is still a lot of hope. This game also shows you some of the important key ideas in the dragon. Remember this theme of rook c8 with the idea of pressure in here. Remember black's plan of playing knight c4. And also remember white's idea of pushing e5 because of this combination. There are many other useful concepts here as well. I hope you will put this video to use. This game, I believe, was quite instructive. Great job to Charlie for not giving up. And everyone else, I look forward to making a lot of new good videos, and I will be back soon. Thank you.